Hello and welcome. We're awfully glad to have you here. I just said to Bob, this should not be a joint hearing. It should be a social event. We never get together. So, but we work on a lot of things cooperatively. So I'm glad to have us all in one room. I'd like to call the meeting for DeForest of the joint meeting for a public hearing on this matter. And I would ask Callie to note our roll call. And I'll turn it to Bob, and then we're to open his meeting, and then we are going to introduce each other, or everybody. So we'll start with that.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I will note that our full board, Windsor Village Board, is in attendance, and so we don't have to do roll call independently. So we can move forward.
All right. Couple of announcements. When you speak, and it's not recorded unless you speak into a mic, so we may have to share in a few instances. And when the green light is on, it's working. If it's not on, they're not hearing you. I make that mistake all the time. So they just yell at me and say, turn your mic on, Jane. The table we're sitting at is very temporary. We're redoing the boardroom with new stuff this coming year, and it is temporary, so it's a little not sturdy all the time. So I'm just letting people know that. So with that, I don't know of any other announcements unless you have some. So we will move forward. Bill, did you have anything in announcements?
I don't have any announcements. I'll present when we get to the public hearing.
Okay. Well, let's introduce ourselves to one another. So maybe just let's start with Tina and we'll move around.
I'm Tina Buttress. I'm the village administrator for Windsor.
I'm Christine Capstrand. I'm the clerk for Windsor.
Good evening. I'm Bill Cole. I'm the Windsor Village Attorney.
I'm Bruce Stravinsky, trustee for the Village of Windsor.
I'm Chris Schmidt, and I'm also a trustee for Windsor.
Ed Wall, village trustee in Windsor.
Monica Smith, trustee for the Village of Windsor.
Bob Whipperforth, Windsor president.
Jane Cahill Wolfgram, DeForest president.
Colleen Little, village trustee, DeForest.
Jan Steppenhagen Hahn, Village of DeForest trustee.
Rebecca Witherspoon, trustee of DeForest.
Bill Landgraf, DeForest trustee.
Jim Simpson, I'll say planning and zoning commissioner almost first, because I know some of you from many years ago, and village trustee for the last 4 years.
Callie Lundgren, Village of DeForest clerk.
Bill Chang, village administrator, DeForest.
And Al Reuter, village attorney for DeForest.
Thank you, everyone. With that, I think we'll move to open the public hearing. I will open for DeForest. And after we open or Bob opens for Windsor, then we'll have a presentation.
Thank you, Jane. I will open the Windsor portion of the public hearing at 5:04 p.m.
All right, and I would ask Bill Chang and Al to present information to us regarding this hearing.
Okay, so we are going to tag team on this. First, I'll explain the changes in the municipal boundary, and then Al can discuss the technicalities of the agreement itself, and we invite also Bill Cole to have any comments on this if necessary. So this discrepancy was discovered by the property owner, bullish investments of the property in DeForest, which is on the west side of the boundary. As you look at the map here, and let me see if I can back out here a bit to orient us a bit. So just to the west is River Road. This is property owned by Bullish Investments. The rearing barns of ABS is up to the northwest in this area. You have a question?
No, it's someone in the audience.
And then to the east of this boundary here is Oak Springs subdivision, first edition and second edition also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so, but the meeting will be recorded and you'll be able to listen to it off on your computer.
Okay, so to continue on, as you can see, the discrepancy here lies starting at the north boundary, property boundary line. You can see that to what would be the left of the screen here is the current municipal boundary. And the property line extends beyond that municipal boundary. So as you continue to the south, that line switches over and there's approximately 10 properties in the Oak Springs subdivision and first edition here that have property within the village of DeForest as defined by the boundary currently. And so what this agreement proposes to do is to amend it so that the boundary lines are concurrent with the subdivision line. And in doing the research, I believe when the municipal boundary legal description and boundary line was created, it followed the 40 line and not necessarily the subdivision line. So there's when the Oak Springs subdivision got platted, there's a discrepancy between that time and when ECAT owned the property, EBS. And so that's why we're looking to make the correction now.
The only thing I would add to that is on the process, there's the agreement that we've put together and resolutions for both municipalities to adopt tonight after the public hearing, which would then be published in the newspaper. And there's a 30-day period before it can take effect, because within that 30-day period, there could be a petition for a referendum among the people who are affected by this. So the effective date in the resolution is, in the agreement, is delayed for 30 days to allow that to happen.
Okay. All right. Mr. Cole, do you have anything you want to add?
No, thank you. I don't have anything.
Okay. So with that, if we have questions from the board at this point, public first. Okay, thank you. So do we want to proceed with the public? Do we have anybody who wishes to appear at the public hearing? You want to? Okay. Come forward and identify yourself, please. Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
That'll work.
You'd give your name and address. That's
sure. My name is Matt Krogman. I'm at 4562 Oak Springs Circle, so in the southern part of the boundaries here. Just really one quick question in the meets and bounds and descriptions. So are we saying that the property lines as currently described are accurate simply that the meets and bounds of the municipal lines are inaccurate. So there's no change to property lines, simply just the municipal boundaries.
I can respond, and that's correct. So there's no change in the parcel property lines at all. Your pins are still the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's the legal description of the municipal boundary that's incorrect.
Got it. Thank you. So, appreciate it.
Okay. All right.
Are there any other questions or comments during the public hearing? I'm asking the public first. No? Okay.
Callie, did she have a question?
To connect with her tomorrow to give her a recording of the meeting, and she just wanted to be aware of what was all.
Okay.
I'm also her neighbor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, if all of the public has expressed their questions, then we can move to the boards for questions. So are there any board members that have questions? Mr. Simpson, and then.
I think my question was answered, but I still ask it. I was a bit concerned with the 30-day delay and how it would work for, say, tax parcels, but it sounds like we're not actually changing any tax parcels, so that should be irrelevant. Is that correct?
It shouldn't have any effect because what is happening now is you've got property owners who have a single lot in two different municipalities, but DeForest hasn't been billing for its portion of that part that should have been in DeForest. Windsor hasn't been taxing for that little bit that was in DeForest, or that was supposed to be in Windsor, but was actually in DeForest. So there won't be any effect on them.
Okay. So really the 30-day delay, that will again be irrelevant. It will just procedural wise, and will just be here and gone.
Yeah, but by statute, the agreement can't take effect for 30 days. And so that's why the resolution reads that way.
Yep. I was just wondering if it was trying to say happen at the end of the year or something, but sounds like it doesn't really matter.
No.
Chris, go ahead.
Thank you. And I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. It's the description that is off, that was wrong in the original documentation. And it's just one property owner that is going to have part of their property that was not being taxed by Windsor will now be taxed by DeForest. Is that right?
So partially. So if I can go to.
Can you tell me which number it is, what lot number on, so I can look on this sheet?
Sure. Yeah. So I believe it's a total of 11 different parcels. On the DeForest side, it's the one single parcel to the west owned by Bullish Investments.
Okay.
And then on the east side there's a total of, I believe, 10 parcels. So going south to north, the southernmost parcel, and then heading north all the way, I believe, to lot 30.
Because on page 1 of 6 of the first sheet, there's no 30 on here. It goes 44 to 84 or 85. So which one of these lots is impacted?
So this is lot 30. If you go to page 3 of 6.
So none of the lots on page 1 of 6 are affected, except the west side, and that's the ABS side.
That's correct.
So none of these are affected. So then we come down to do you have okay, so is page
3 of 6.
6.
3 of 6 between lot 44 and lot 30 is where it switches over.
Okay, and so can you go to, I don't know what page this is, but it's another 1 of 6, but it does have lots 22 to 44. That one. Nope.
I think you just went by it, Bill.
Yep.
Oh, no, it goes further up.
Okay.
So the boundary on the left-hand side, the dark line, so is it the line that's being corrected, the vertical one? And we're just moving it west?
That's correct. So it's hard to see on this map. So it's both the vertical line and this horizontal line here.
Okay.
So the details are in the following pages. And if you be patient with me, I can show you here where the biggest difference on the south end side of this, the map is. So this is that very bottom portion of that previous map that you were looking at. And at its widest, it's about 6.17 feet. That's the horizontal.
That's now going to be taxed by the Village of DeForest.
That's correct.
And it was never taxed by Village of Windsor.
That's correct. Well, that's coming. Go ahead.
Al?
It wasn't separately taxed by Windsor, but the assessor went out and looked at the parcel that he thought was the parcel, which would have been what you're seeing on the map now. So technically Windsor was assessing for that, but it doesn't really have any value by itself. What would happen if this agreement is not entered into is, now that we know about this problem, DeForest would have to tax separately for that little parcel, or for the parcels that would, under the agreement, go to Windsor. We'd have to send them a tax bill for about $3 for that little bit of land that's in DeForest. Windsor would have to do the same thing on the Bullish property to the south for that little bit of land that's in Windsor but owned by Bullish.
Okay. So then that double line at the very top of that, I think that's the easement. Christine, correct me if that's wrong, if I'm wrong, but isn't that the path into Oak Springs 1 Park? Does that impact access to the park at all? No? That's not going to be impacted whatsoever. I thought this space in here was the park.
You're on the other, your park's on the other side of the road.
Sorry, I think I got confused with the Sunfish or the Sun Hill Court. And so our park is on the other side. Okay. All right. So what is that space in between there though? Those two lines, is that an easement of some sort? Or a path? Just south of, or just directly below lot 22.
You know, the northern line is labeled subdivision boundary. And then you have the space and then the north line of lot 1 CSM. It looks to me like it would be. I don't know.
But this doesn't impact Windsor whatsoever. Okay. I'm good with it then.
It would, if you can conceptually, it's sort of two triangles. Point is in the middle. The top part of it is going from Windsor to DeForest. The bottom part is going from DeForest to Windsor. Just kind of straightening.
Any other questions on the Windsor side?
Rebecca?
Yeah, I think I'm finally getting a handle on this. I just want to make sure I actually have got a handle. So the property that is Bullish, the ABS side, whatever, that part we will be taxing, but all the rest of it is going to be taxed by Windsor. Or am I misunderstanding?
No,
moving forward.
I think you have it right. All of Bullish's land will end up in DeForest.
Okay.
All of the Oak Springs land will end up in Windsor. That's the goal of this, so that only one municipality will tax any parcel owner.
Okay, thank you.
other questions from DeForest board members? Okay.
Any last citizen comment? Hearing none.
All right, if there are no other comments and no other questions, I would close the DeForest portion of the joint hearing at 5:20 p.m.
And I will close the Windsor portion of the public hearing at 5:20 p.m.
So I think we practiced this. We did very good. With that, we'll move to item 5, action items, and 5.1, Village of DeForest Resolution 2024-096, resolution authorizing the village president and clerk to execute a cooperative boundary agreement with the Village of Windsor.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. If there are no other comments or questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Windsor has Village of Windsor Resolution 2024-90. Looking for a motion to approve. Motion by Ed. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chris. Motion by Ed, seconded by Chris. Before we do, Attorney Cole, do we need a roll call or not? No. All right, I'll call the question. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That resolution is approved.
Okay. All right, if there are no other business to come before this auspicious body, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the DeForest portion of this meeting.
Move to adjourn.
I'll make that motion. There's second it.
There, we have a motion by Jim, a second by Rebecca. It becomes a contest. All those in favor from DeForest signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have adjourned the DeForest portion at 5:22 p.m.
In Windsor, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Monica, seconded by Bruce. Motion by Monica, seconded by Bruce. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned at 5:22 p.m. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. So that was good.